Okay, y'all, good morning. So it's pollen, what it is. There's a lot of pollen. Maybe we'll get a little bit of rain, I don't know. I haven't even looked at the weather, man. A little bit, body's a little bit beat up from yesterday. You know, I did a lot of leg work yesterday as far as you know, laying that sod. Well, on a small job like that, and it ain't real hot, I don't mind, you know, I don't really mind doing, as long as I don't have to haul the freaking sod. You know, I don't mind the one being on my knees. So and people bringing me the sod, because I know exactly what to do. The whole day yesterday, and it's not a dig or nothing, but the whole day yesterday I was pretty much having to school the young man on a lot of little things, you know, and I'm not gonna go into every little bitty thing, but he don't know what he don't know, right? And you have to know that he don't know what he don't know. So today he don't know what he don't know. So a couple things happened yesterday after we got done that didn't make the video. So I got home, you know, around, I guess, 2 or so. I called the landscape design place and I said, hey man, did anybody not come pick up their sod? Because the way they do it, in order for me to get that price, it's only available to order, and the delivery usually comes on Thursday, Friday. So the owner down there at my, you know, supply house there, he told me, he said, oh Ray, man, no, I got one guy that hasn't come and picked his up yet, but he hasn't called me and told me no. And I'm like, damn, man. So then about 30 minutes later, he calls me back. He says, hey, but you still want that pallet of sod? Because what I was gonna have to do, I was gonna have to wait until next week. Well, see, when you go into these jobs, and it's just my opinion, just like the other day when I hit that fence over here, you know, you can't let the job linger. You know, you got to get, you know, that's why I went on over there and fixed that fence, because I don't want it lingering into where it's digging into my money or my time, really, that I'm making next week or whatever. So I went on and bit the bullet and went on over there and took care of that. And then, you know, you get to a sod job where you're, you know, 200 square feet or so short. Either way, you got to buy another pallet. So when we were taking the measurements, and me, the homeowner, and her husband, they were adamant that, you know, 3 pallets was going to be enough. And I was, you know, well, I was conscious of their budget that they told me. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll do 3 pallets. But I kind of, you know, after we got started, I realized that if we're going to go all the way over to the telephone thing over there, that it was going to be that close. We didn't have any room to spare. So, you know, if they hadn't have been, you know, price conscious, then I probably would have went on and got 4 pallets. I don't know, I might not have though, you know. But anyway, so he called me back, the landscape design called me back, and he says, hey Ray, you want that other pallet of sod? Dude's not gonna come get it, he's got to go to the hospital. I'm like, well, hell yeah. So he said, well, you got to come on up here and get it. I said, hold it for me, man, I'll be there, you know, shortly. So I was eating my Sammy then, and I unloaded the skid, ran down there, and they loaded the trailer up with the pallet, you know. And keep in mind, I'm only paying about $200 a pallet. And everywhere, I don't know how they do it, and it ain't my, you know, everywhere around here that sells sod, Bermuda sod or any kind of sod, the Bermuda is over $450 a pallet. And that ain't installed. That's, I mean, the price, if you don't, you know, the price, and then the closeness of this supply house right here, and I know those guys, you know, y'all know, y'all know. So they were, you know, the closest to the job. And it's sort of like the dump or wherever, you know, the closer you are to the dump or to the job, then the better. So if you got to go to the dump, and if you're buying sod or things, it's good to have that. So I went on down there, I got the pallet of sod, I threw it on the trailer. Now in theory, I could have went on over there and wrapped that job up yesterday. But I knew that, well, I didn't want to, I was tired. So first off, and another thing, I knew that this morning I got to go to the bamboo site, but not real early. I don't have to be over, I don't have to be, it's not really a set time, but around 10:30 or so, I'll be over at the bamboo site because we're going to be digging those holes. So, and the auger's already over there. All I got to do is just bring the machine. So, that's the thinking. I'll go over here, do this. Cat's going to come help me. And it's just because I'm not thinking about every little thing on the sod job, because I don't do sod every day or nothing. I only do probably about 3 sod jobs a year. Now this year, well, I might do more. But when I'm doing sod, there's a few things that I need that I forget every time. You know, one thing that I need that really helps on a sod job is having an edger with you, right? I'm talking about a stick edger. I like that. Then you can tighten everything up. Sometimes a weed eater don't hurt none either, because the weed eater is gonna you know, help you get the grass. One thing that hurt us yesterday was all that moss that was on the ground. It's trying to dry out, but there's a lot of roots and stuff, clump, where, not big roots, but where the moss just kind of clumped up the ground. And when the power rate hit all that stuff, it's pulling chunks. It's not, you know, it's pulling big stuff out. But I want to go on and fill the skid up while I'm here, and get some fuel mix too. So today I got, now really by law, I really don't even need the skid, but it's going to save me $125 on delivery. So I'm going to get that money. So now, because we added, you know, we had to get another pallet, it's another $725. $600 for the sod and the install, and then $125 for the delivery. And that's I mean, so on this job right here alone, I probably probably about almost $400, $275 or something like that, that I didn't have to pay out, that I was able to charge. I charge for delivery. You know, I try not to charge exactly what they charge, but sometimes it's worthy to charge that or even more, because then you're more efficient, because you're in control of the timing of everything, and that makes you even more efficient. And so, and you're making more money too, because we're talking about from the landscape design place to the front door of this job over here, we're talking about 2.5 miles. That's it. And we're not talking about, you know, no major, yeah. So I'm paying $185 for the sod. Doing the sod in, like we're doing it. Of course, I would have done better had I got done yesterday, and, you know, just added the 600 on to the 24, and we would have been at $3,000. Now I was at 2,400 for 3 pallets. And I'm only at 600 plus the delivery of one more pallet. Well, how's that, Ray? That math don't add up. Well, it does, because you got dirt and you got prep work. I don't have to do a lot of prep work. I don't have the power rate today. I mean, by law, I don't even need a skid over here. I don't want to work that hard, and I got to have the skid out anyway, because I'm going to the bamboo site. So, and I got a pallet of sod on here. I mean, the skid will help us in some ways, but we're going to have enough sod to finish that little hole that we couldn't finish. And one thing I don't like about what we did, and you know, and that's about having a new guy working in that area and me just not thinking, is, you know, you got the sod coming down, you know, 85–90% into the front yard, and then you got a line going up against the edge, and in the middle there's no sod. see, what ends up happening is if you run out of sod, then you got a hole in the middle. So now you got sod on this side, you got sod on this side, and if it don't fit, you got to do a lot of cutting. And the trick to sod, to me, is not to have to cut it any more than you absolutely have to. So you know, that's just sod 101, if you ask me. Now, we knew we were going to have to do some cutting, but once I would have approached things a little bit different had we had 4 pallets, because then I wouldn't have been using all the trashy pieces. The homeowner over here wants to do some more work, and Kat and her mom, they have a business that's what they do. They do gardening type stuff. That's why I like her on these sod jobs, because she don't mind getting her hands dirty. If you'll notice in the videos, the young man, he doesn't know what to do. So, you know, he's trying to rake everything. A lot of times when you're doing stuff like yesterday, it's just better just get on your hands and knees and grab the stuff and do it, instead of trying to, you know, minimize your bending over and all that. So, but my guy did good based on what he knows. But on the next one, if we do another one, we are going to be doing, we got a 10 pallet sod job, and after doing this job right here, you know, it's the first sod job I've done this year. After doing this job right here, I'm pretty freaking weary about 10 pallets. When we didn't struggle, but it took us a pretty good while to do 3. But we did have to prep the ground. So my thinking is this: when I do the 10 pallet sod job over in Palmetto, I'm going to go over there the day before, and may even take somebody with me to prep the ground. I mean, because you can't have guys just standing around. And this job over here was really small, so you can afford to eat that little bit of labor, but not on a big job. Another thing about this job over here, it was almost too small for the skid. Now this job over here would have been perfect for a mini skid, as long as the mini skid can pick up a pallet of sod. Now I don't know how much weight they can pick up or whatever. I kind of doubt they can pick up a whole, I mean, I kind of doubt that they can pick up a whole pallet of sod. I might be wrong. I don't know. Some of you guys can tell me. I'm sure they make one that does, but it's going to be pretty big. Because if that sod's wet, it's lifting the rear end of my machine off the ground. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to fill the skid up. So it's a pretty good day for this. Overcast anyway. Yeah. And look, like there's a hole right there too, Katie. See right here?
Oh yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, we might pull some of it. We can't dig right here.
Uh-uh.
No, we're just gonna...
That was already there before.
Yeah, and we can't dig because that line's there.
Right.
So, just scratch it.
Yeah.
And then scratch it easy. Man. See, that's what I was talking about right there. See, look at that strip that we're gonna have right there.
Yeah, well, it's okay because you're talking about making a strip for...
Yeah. So I'll cut. Yeah. Damn. See, if we'd have had enough, we just would have went straight on in, you know. So the homeowner's going to rent a roller today, he said, and he's going to roll it. So that'll be perfect. I can do a little bit with the machine. You're not going to hurt it, but you can, if one piece hangs on the machine, it'll rip it up. So okay, I'm gonna put you on a tripod somewhere. All right, y'all, so got done with that job. They're loving it. You know, just like with every sod job, you know, the lines between the grass, you know, everybody that I ever do sod for, they're always concerned with those lines going to go away, and we all know they do. So she asked me about those lines, and I'm like, oh yeah, they'll be gone in 3 weeks. So they were talking about a job right here that these people did in their backyard, and now I think they put Bermuda down, and I don't think that Bermuda's even going to live. It's too much shade. So you got to know, you got to be watching what you're doing. Let's see. Yeah, that Bermuda ain't gonna. That Bermuda right there ain't gonna survive, man. It's way too shady in there, dude. Okay, so yeah, that only took us a little over an hour, but everything was prepped and ready. And she made 140 bucks, so you know, it's worth it to me, man. I made good on that job, really. A few little things that I'm not really concerned about anything over there. Plenty of sun. That grass is going to take off. I'm just concerned about them watering it and making sure that they're, you know, so yeah. But if I did sod every day or more regular, I'd have to get better at grading and power raking and all that. That job was almost too small for the power rake. That'd been perfect for a freaking small stand-on skid, you know. That'd have been perfect for one of them Chinese skids with a power rake. I don't know if it can pick up a pallet of sod, but my machine's a little bit too big to be over there. If anybody else over there in that neighborhood called me about sod, if they see hers, I probably wouldn't want to do it, man. I don't like being that confined. There's no space for nothing, and it actually costs me more to do jobs that are small with limited space. It costs me more because you don't have no place to put none of the debris. You know, you got, hell, I had 2.5 yards of freaking trash. I think it's gonna come out real good. We'll check back in over there in a few weeks, and yeah, because they're not my regular lawn customer or nothing. But I put down a lot of sod in my time, and always Bermuda usually, you know, 90% of the time, and I've never had it not take. Even that old sorry sod job that that dude did worked with me last year, that old sorry sod job he did, other than replacing those couple of pieces out by the road, it turned out pretty good, you know. Of course, I had to replace the pieces by the road, but that wasn't a big deal. I just moved stuff around. But he was going to rent a roller this morning, so well, he was gone to go get it now, and I was going to roll it, you know, but he told me no. So, and I wasn't like I was charging more money to roll it or nothing. I was, you know, the number is the number. But you know, another $600. So I didn't really make good on that, but I knew it was only going to take us an hour. So I made about what I was supposed to make profit-wise. You figure $600. The sod's $200. So that's $400. $140 for labor. 600, 400, 140. So that leaves $240. You know, 20 in fuel, 30 in fuel. So, you know, I made roughly 250 bucks this morning so far, and we was only there an hour. So, but you know, you can't. I had to go back over there and finish. You know, so like I said earlier, you know, getting this stuff out of the way is critical. So, hey y'all. So like I was saying in the truck, back over here gonna dig these holes. I really kind of need guy on the ground right here. I really need a bigger. So I really need a bigger bit, but a bigger bit, they're over $500, man. And I don't drill enough holes for that. This is good for 4x4, 4x6 post. You know, you could. So if I were doing a lot of installs with, you know, bushes and plants and shrubs and all that, then I may think a little bit different. But I'm not thinking different right now because, well, I just don't do enough of it, man. You know. Okay, y'all, so this area right here that you see in front of me with all the debris, I'm going to dig out some of this stuff. So because he wants to keep going with the plants, but you don't want to have all this ugly stuff. We got bamboo in here, a few little stumps, stobs. So I'm going to use the tooth bucket to rip some of this stuff out and bring you guys along for the ride. So. don't charge him like I charge everybody else, man. So he's a buddy of mine. I've been knowing him a long time, and well, he's a friend too. So and he pays, but you know, I just don't charge him. I don't have to get full retail for everything I do. But like I was saying, you know, he allowed me to come over to that property, and even though I was doing work for him, you know, getting things done, he knew that I didn't know a whole lot about how to do some of this stuff, and that I needed to learn. And you know, so me and him worked a deal out when I bought the Bobcat. Hey man, I'll come over here and work, you know, give me $400 every time I come over here, and I'll spend, you know, 4 or 5 hours over there. And that's what he did. And that's what we did for a long time. And he got a lot of work done, but I got to learn too. Really, man, you wasn't charging enough. You were barely covering your costs. Yeah, but you can't put a price on. I was covering my costs, but you can't put a price on experience and learning. So the sod job got wrapped up. Glad that that's done. I don't know that I even want to take on any more sod jobs this year until I get done with that big one. That big one's going to be that's a hell of a job. I'm gonna need 3 or 4 people over there, because I know for a fact I'm not going to be wanting to damn crawl around on the ground and all that. So, but a good day, you know. I ain't making as much money as I've been making, but I ain't do bad, not at all. And I got them going on that chicken coop, you know, because well, there's a bunch of different ways, and I know a lot about framing and stuff. So I ain't bragging or nothing, but I do, because I used to frame houses and decks and fences, and I did all kinds of stuff. So doing something like that is elementary for me. I said elementary. Just a lot of little tricks and stuff to doing framing and stuff like that you learn over the years. And you know, even though I was telling them, I'm like, dude, I'm too old for this crap, you know, lugging lumber around and holding boards up to screw them in and all that stuff. But I know how to do all that, and I know how to tell somebody how to do it too, to where they'll save energy. Usually when I was doing a lot of framing, of course I work with a crew, but I've done a lot of framing like around my house and stuff where I did solo by myself. And a lot of little tricks that you can do when you don't have a team of guys and you're just by yourself. You know, and I was telling them, showing them some of those little tricks to where you can make sure you get it right, but you're not digging hole twice and you're not doing anything 2 times. You're, you know. All right, y'all know what it is. It's din time. Deuces.